Hello, friends. Maybe my mic is not really working. Can you hear me? I can't hear myself too well. Trust is super hard to achieve, not just for this oldest child, but for all of us. Many people believe that trust is merely being able to predict the action of another person and believing in what he or she may or may not do. For instance, on the way home, you may predict that your spouse may comment on how awesome Father Houston's homily was this morning. Also, you may be able to trust that Monsignor Bill will celebrate the 11 a.m. Mass as he does every Sunday for over a decade. You may trust that your spouse or your sibling may say something to you that you don't like within the next 3 weeks, or let's be honest, the next 3 hours. Friends, being able to predict something is not real trust. Trust is vulnerability. And quite frankly, we cannot be vulnerable with everyone. I definitely don't trust everyone. It may be foolish of me to do so because not everyone deserves all of you. However, God does. Vulnerability is the complete freedom to express whatever is inside, knowing that the other person would not, or at least should not, use it against you or in a manipulative way. And when there is no trust that enables vulnerability, feelings get hurt quick, and you might even find that people start to change because you're trying to convey a message that they might not like. And guess what, friends? That is okay. True friendship is with God. Notice the security that Paul had in himself, but more so in God. It is a confidence that makes an individual strong and unshaken in a task that needs to be done. If he was looking for satisfaction and approval, the spreading of God's goodness, the reason for existing, would not be done. And for us today, the lack of fulfillment leads to a perpetual state of searching, maybe even looking for what is more, whereas what is more is inside. Today, we stop making it all about us. We stop being frustrated about not being appreciated, liked, loved, or attended to. Rather, we focus on the Lord we serve, the Lord that gives life. You, friends, have been entrusted with the mysteries that sustain, the mysteries that gives life. You are being called to share these mysteries with confidence. You are called to share these mysteries knowing that the world may not like you. You are called to share these mysteries beyond your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is where the devil wants you to be. A person that is not being refreshed, a person that is not being renewed, rather finds himself behind and then lost. Fortunately for us, our friend that has intentionally chosen us trusts you with his mission. He looks to empower you. He looks to motivate you because no other fuel is good enough. No other compliment is good enough. No cute outfit is good enough. No validation from others is good enough. And quite frankly, it was never and never will be good enough. Friends, security only exists in God. Sometimes that's a hard concept to embrace because we think we can control, help, or even change a circumstance. Spouses, you may be able to attest to the following fact quite well, that just because you marry them doesn't mean that they will change, huh? You can't change anyone. Now, there's an anecdote we might use in the priesthood. It's the following: as a seminarian, as a priest, meaning the guy that you see right here in front of you, he was the same guy before the priesthood. My parents will attest to that. My siblings will definitely attest to that. Now, if he was a jerk before, chances are he's probably not going to change, at least not without work and intentionality. It just so happens to be that we fall short more times than we care to acknowledge because we do not have that full perspective. Therefore, where do we turn to? None other than the Lord. He is still willing to give you that freedom. He still wants you to thrive. However, there is no such thing as thriving away from the vine. You came from the vine. You were nurtured by this same vine. And more than what your parents can say or do, you were given life by this vine. Any action that is not in accordance with this life-giving vine is death, and it would be death that we intentionally choose by breaking away from this vine. Notice how the Lord wants to prune the branches, cutting off the things that we know don't define us. But why hold on to such things that don't define us? The vine that gives life sustains us with everything that we need, but sometimes we hold on to possessions, abilities, we hold on to flawed understandings, and we hold on to places of comfort. This is where we surrender, letting go of all the things that are unimportant. Friends, you are more than the things that you own. You are more than the actions that you do, be it good or bad. You are far greater, far more special than you think you are. And quite frankly, those who boast about how awesome they are don't really believe it. If they did, the security of knowing that does not need to be demonstrated. Maybe the better question is, how is the Lord calling me to grow and calling me to be more secure if he has the best intentions for me? How about we acknowledge this vine? Friends, dependence on this vine is the only dependence you need. This is where our level of trust, trust in God goes from predictability to complete vulnerability. So, tell the Lord how you are doing. Ask him to lead you. Ask him to show you who you really are. Ask him to direct you on what he wants you to do. If not anyone else, open your heart to him and present it to him. Be present to him. After all, the Lord will not embarrass you. He has no need of that. God knows everything about you anyway. Go to him and you will find all that you need. If you go to anyone else first, maybe they may give you 50% or 75% of what you need. Needless to say, the Lord has chosen you to be a vessel that recreates and demonstrates this love that others may come to know and believe. When we keep flaunting what we are not, in the words of Shania Twain, that don't impress me much. Friends, God is not impressed with what you have or with what you think you have. He's too busy being impressed by who you are. Today, we ask this life-giving vine to show us who we are, that we may stop depending on those who you don't know to validate that.